Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to all of you. I love you big time. Let me say a big hello to someone. I don't think they've been here before. Alexander C. I am overly excited to have you here, and I hope you enjoy tonight's commentary. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you subscribe to the channel. Let's see. Miss Hudson is in the house this evening. Good evening to you. Real life, real talk, real time. I said it wrong. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Love, love you big time. Miss Hines is in the house this evening. Faye, good evening to you. General Sankofa. I hope I get this right. I think Sankofa means study the past so you know the future. I think. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Miss Renfrew is in the house. Well, look at God. Won't he do it? Judy Baptiste, good evening to you. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. Lisa Fleming, good evening to you. Always a pleasure to have you in the house as well. Monica Thomas, my good friend Monica Thomas, who left me a message today on YouTube. And so I better clear this up now because she was pretty hot. Miss Hot Pink, love you big time. Thank you for being here. There's Eva is in the house. Melissa, I think it's Renee, I think. Good evening to you. Jamie is here, and I think that was it. Finally called alive. Yes, yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm excited you finally called one. Miller is in the house. Good evening, good evening, good evening. My good friend, the wise thinker. It's a pleasure to have you on my live feed. Always love you big time. Miss Monica Thomas, you all know her. I think she's called in a couple of times, and she preached a couple of times, and she took us to church. Today, she left me a message that was, I could hear her saying it, and she was angry. She was upset. She said, did I just hear you say you gave, and I'm paraphrasing, Miss Jade her job back? I know you didn't. And I said, no. That is not her. The lady that was on last night is Miss J. And if any of you thought that was the other person, it's not her. If you've heard the other one speak, then you know her accent. That's not her. This is Miss J. She's not going to be with us this evening, but she is here watching tonight's live feed. Her name is Miss J. No connections whatsoever. Thank God that is over with tonight. Robinson, good evening to you. The Mickey 187, I think. I probably tore that up. Brooklyn 718 Savages in the house. Good evening to you. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. Okay. I got a chance to look at some videos of the couple in Houston, Texas. The videos that I got an opportunity to listen to and watch today, if I had to describe them in one word, it would be pathetic. 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 We had an opportunity to look inside of the apartment where they were living. Now, I don't know when they did this. I don't know who gave them permission to go in the apartment and start filming, but we did share that video with you all. I think they took us to every room in the house. Tracy Thomas, good evening to you. Welcome, welcome. They went in the refrigerator. One lady said it doesn't appear that she was cooking because the pot was on the floor. Now, here's the thing about that. Because I asked Miss J about this today. In my mind, if a child was missing, the child is now dead. You have a mother and the mother's boyfriend. We know they lied about what happened Saturday. We know that. if I'm a detective, homicide detective, wherever you lay your head is a crime scene to me. So I'm going to get some tape, rope it off. If I don't have a warrant to search the place yet, that's fine. We're going to place an officer outside until I can get a judge to sign that warrant. Now, maybe they've already done it before they went in. I don't know. But even if they had already done it, as well as we shared the video, I don't know the purpose of them going in and doing it. I just really want to know who let them in to do it. I called the office today. Okay, I called the office today, but no one answered. They rang about 8 times. We called back, no one answered. I wanted to, ask that and ask about the window. So anyway, I will, Miss Saucy. Love you big time. Thank you kindly. It's a crime scene. So if it was not treated as a crime scene, it may have been something in there that would directly tie those two to the child's death. But if that house has not had a crime scene in it, we may never know. Now, in all fairness, I don't like to put people down, especially when things are going wrong in their life, whether they're guilty or not. Yes, the apartment was nasty. In their defense, and hear me out before you get loud or whatever. There was no furniture. There was a pink thing. It looks like a bed. Maybe it had been for a child. I'm assuming Tootie. They opened the refrigerator up. There was no food, with the exception of, I think they said, a bowl of oatmeal that had mold in it. Now, let me say this. This is what I was talking with Mr. Jay about earlier. The living conditions were terrible. Now, some of those that was filming apartment might look worse than that or equal to that. So whether these two are guilty or not, and I don't know if they're on drugs or not, but in their defense this one time, to put them down on that, I won't do. Maybe they was making it the best they could. I've been there. I've laid on a naked floor. I laid on an air mattress and stuff, and been without food and stuff like that. And yes, maybe she could have called a family member to come and get the child or take them in. Maybe tried that. Maybe they want food to family. I don't know. But as far as just putting them down for that, I won't do that. I won't do that because I don't know their whole situation. I don't know their financial situation. So if you know it, then you know it, but I don't. So I can't speak on it because it's premature for me to say something that, I'm like, that may not be the case. It's extremely hard these days, especially with what's going on now. Now, maybe she could have sent a child to a relative or a friend. And maybe she just said, no, I'm going to battle this out with my child. Maybe they had burnt their bridges. I don't know what the case may be, but I'm not going to bash them on that. I'm not. Even if they were on drugs, I'm not going to bash them on that. Should the child have been there? No, absolutely not. If there was no food in the house, So I just want to get that out of the way before we go a little deeper here tonight. We still do not know the cause of death. The body has not been positively identified, but I think we all can safely say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that's her. That's going to be Tootie. I saw the blue shoes. Brooklyn, yes, the blue shoes were there. I saw those. Okay, I'm not trying to make this difficult, but we do know it was said blue shoes. And she had more than one pair. And I said that because I want to look at both sides. I don't want to try to sway you one way or another because I'm not always right. You're not always wrong. But in order to draw an honest conclusion, you have to weigh both sides. You have to look. You can't just look at the side and like, yeah, they did it because you want them to be guilty. So I never want to do that, but I did see the blue shoes in there. But if management let them in there, even after it had been investigated or whatever, the manager was still wrong. That's something that they shouldn't have done. Something they shouldn't have done, and that's just the way I see it. But that's just me. My opinion is not fact. It's just that it's just my opinion. But what I do know is that I never thought we would be here again with a case like this. And it's more difficult to even speak on this because there are some eerie similarities to the Maliyah Davis case. Not to mention the little girl is named Maliyah. Purple and Gold, good evening, welcome. And what we don't want is that Al Vader, the Houston Police Department, we don't want them to drop the ball on this one. And the only way that we can make sure that they don't do this is we must let them know we remember how you all handled the Maliyah Lynn Davis case. Nobody that I know is satisfied with the way you all handled that case. So we're starting early with making phone calls to them. We started early making phone calls and sending out emails to let them know that we're watching this. Tracy, I'm somewhat lost as to what you're saying. You're saying, why not? These people are messed up in this day and time. So I'm not exactly sure what you mean. If you'd like to call, you're more than welcome to do so. I just heard about this case, and I do my best to stay neutral for now. Okay, Okay, thank you. She's new, Alexander C. And I totally agree with what you just said. I try to stay neutral as well, especially in the beginning of something, because what we learn throughout life is that when a story is first reported, even through mainstream media, a lot of times they're going to get it wrong. A lot of times we're going to get it wrong. But everybody's in such a rush to get it out, so some really don't care, and stuff. But I try to be as accurate as I can. This is a very serious case. You have a 2-year-old child that could not walk 25 miles to a pond. Ashley, you are more than welcome. I love you big time. I sat here today, and I wasn't going to tell you all this, but I shared this with I think this lady, Miss Baker, called me today, and we were talking about the case. And out of the blue, I just found myself sharing it with her because I sat here at the desk and I looked at Maliyah Davis, Maliyah Bass, and I had them both together in black and white. And I don't know where they came from, but tears just began to fall because I'm looking at these two little girls and I'm like, they're children. They should be playing right now. But they're two children that were mistreated and killed. And that shouldn't be so. And that's a hard pill to digest. As I was talking to Carolyn Roberts today, and she understood. She said, it's not easy to report stories like this because you're not supposed to become emotionally involved in them, but we do from time to time. I told her I never set out to do anything about kids. When we started this YouTube channel, it was to do what I've been doing all my life. Speak against injustices in any way that I can help correct it, I would do that. Spending a lot of time reporting on mistreatment of kids and killings was never on the table. But once the Maliyah Davis case came up, I'm stuck now. And uh, we must make it right. It takes everybody to get together and speak to make sure that this case is handled the way that it needs to be handled. And we're not going to wait too long for the Houston Police Department to make an arrest. I think they know who they're looking for, but I think they're just waiting on the medical examiner when he or she says, have a child died. I think that's what they're waiting on, understandable. But we cannot keep letting people kill children and let them walk free as if they did absolutely nothing. As I said last night, I don't think the child was alive Friday night. When they went into a convenience store, the mother, the boyfriend, they told Malcolm X with the toothpaste, the child was left alone in the apartment. And that might be the only truth that they ever spoke. That might be the only truth that they ever spoke. The child was alone. But at that particular time, there was no need for a parent or anyone to be in the house to watch the child or to make sure that no harm comes to the child, because I believe that child was already dead. That's what I believe. The child was already dead. But even after hearing that, and if it be true that they did say this, I don't know why we don't put handcuffs on them for child abandonment and child neglect. If we don't make it easier for police officers to arrest people who we got that hunch they did it. But not knowing someone did something and proving it is two different things. But it takes a lot to lock them up on a case like this, and you don't have all the evidence that you need. We need to make it more easier. I'm gonna say it till I die. We should be able to lock you up without being charged under suspicion for at least 90 days. If within that time that we find out we are wrong, then we can let you go. But if not, we're going to keep you there. And hopefully you will break. Somebody will break. When people see this go on and other parents get away with it, well, here comes your copycat, and they're going to do the same thing. If you are alive, you have to be touched by this story. You have two little girls. They're both dead. That shouldn't be. And any excuse that they give for the child being dead, to me, is an inexcusable excuse. I think Friday night, this is not a fact. Don't say I said it as a fact. The child was killed. Probably after they went and took the child wherever. Then they went to the store. Or perhaps they went to the store and then took the child. Well, somebody took them, picked them up. Or maybe they borrowed the car. I don't know. Well, autopsy will not tell a lot. I can't agree with you on that, Kayla, because depending upon the condition of the body, the autopsy tells a lot, So now if the body was dismembered or some other things, then yeah, it might be difficult. But it's not impossible. Sometimes it's just very difficult to determine the cause of death. But I promise you this here, even if they put inconclusive, we still have killers on our hands. We do. If they was only together for 4 months, I can understand you taking up some time with a daughter. But the way you carried on the other day, uh, it was if you wasn't the dad, you were the stepdad, and you had been with this family for some years. But I'm told you all was only together for 4 months. So I just don't think your love for that child could be as strong as you're trying to make us think that it is. I just don't believe that. I don't see how you can move someone in an apartment with you and you just met and you only been dating for what, about um, um, 4 months or so, unless both of you knew each other from the past. Then okay, all right, maybe. Nothing he said made any earthly damn sense. Nothing. Nothing. Now he has a record, but there's nothing there that says he is a child molester or he will abuse a child. Good evening, calling you live on the air. What's your name and what state are you calling from tonight?
How you doing tonight? This is Brother Manuel, right here in Houston, Texas.
Yes, sir, Manuel. How are you, brother?
And I'm blessed. I'm pissed off like everybody else, man. I've been right on the case since the first moment. I put out a video that morning, early that morning, and I'm the person that stepdaddy, that fake little boyfriend was talking about is bashing him on Facebook. That morning he was talking about, man, they bashing us on Facebook, and me and my girl and all that. And we like, really? So nigga, you saw our post early that morning, because we got the news early that morning and we went right into it, calling up everybody we were gonna get out there. We like, nah, this is not gonna happen again. Just by the name, it just really pissed us off.
Exactly.
And it smelled like it was going to be the same things, because a lot of the same occurrences have been happening this year. And, this is a special year.
Exactly.
So we went on it like all the people last year, you, me, everybody was investigating. And we let the spirit move us the right way, and we was in the right direction, man. So that morning, man, when Echo Search called me and let me know that they done found a body, I was like, that's enough, man. This is not going to be that same issue. And before the media get a hold of it and start making everybody feel like that and start having sympathy for these baby killers, I was going to put it out there right. And I put it out there early that morning on my page. Had nobody spoke about that yet. And then this little boy at 11 o'clock telling the news, they're on Facebook talking about him. First and foremost, why are you on Facebook when you're supposed to be looking for your baby? If you was looking for your baby, how the hell are you on a social media post? Where's she at? On Facebook? If you're out there looking for this baby, ain't nothing, no calls or nothing is going to really distract you, unless you were using social media to put the word out there. And he ain't never made no post. Him or his girl ain't never made no post. And if y'all were all watching, y'all saw how some of the residents went into the home since they've been gone, and they saw how they were living, man. Just deplorable situations, no furniture in there, not even rugs on the hardwood floor. So, babies love to run around, man. I can just imagine that baby running around and being told to sit down, and there ain't really nothing to do anyway. You know what I'm saying? And you look at the demeanor of how this young man was carrying himself, the fake daddy. You see, look at his hygiene, man. His hair not cut. His clothes not fitting him right. It looked like the clothes is dingy and stuff. So if you think about that, then look over at the mama, and she's representing the same way. Man, come on, if y'all know the adults don't take care of themselves, they wasn't taking care of that baby. There wasn't no food in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? Because food would still be there. Because just like with Maliyah, and this is how I knew this was exactly, even though I had said it before, but when I saw this cookie head nigga on the scene, I knew right then, just like we said last year with Maliyah, when he popped his head up in it on the side of the killers, we know, yeah, y'all did that. None but liars get helped by him. And then here he goes, again, camera chasing, because no one called him out there. The family didn't call him out there, and he come on the camera fooling everybody with his talk I'm not gonna represent the family. Fuck you mean represent the family? Represent them for what? They didn't have no charges against them. They needed you to represent them and speak for them. They had already done that. And that's when she told us everything, because the little girl relayed stuff to us that nobody else knew, like, they found my baby naked on an orange float. How'd you know that?
Emmanuel.
Nobody saw the body pulled out. It was and HPD were already on the scene and had already retrieved her when the jogger saw her. They had already pulled her out the water before the mama and them could even make it there, because it's a 40-minute trip from where she lives to the site in which they found her. Now, what everybody's going off on is, how did she get in that water? If anybody lives down here, you know where she stays at. Behind her and in front of her, but a distance off, are entryways to the Braves Bayou. There are waterways that lead to that. But if you're in Houston, you know the bayous are not something that's easily accessible.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way that little sister went through all of those apartments, because in front of them and behind them are other apartments, houses surrounding businesses. This little girl would have to leave that playground in the apartments, and everybody know how apartments are set up. Get through all of that, get out the gates, go through other apartments, just to end up in anywhere near how she could end up 15 miles down the road in our bayou. For her to be dropped in over there where her house is, she was found 15 miles floated down the bayou. And anybody that knows science knows it takes 2 to 3 days for a body submerged after it has died for it to float. If they just lost that baby Saturday night, there's no fucking way possible.
Come on! Come on! Come on!
The baby was already dead before that. This is science telling us. Nobody gets fooled by nobody else or none of that, man. This is reality, and that's what we told them dumbass kids. Y'all do dumb shit. Science is gonna prove what happened. They're gonna tell us where that baby was stepping. They're gonna look on her feet. They're doing all that right now. They're gonna know the exact time in which this little girl's body started to decompose. And whenever they put her in, they're gonna also know where that exact spot is, because there are things around that spot that would have gotten a hold of her body.
Emmanuel, let me stop for a minute. No, you're good. Let me ask you 2 quick questions. Now, when he began to speak, the boyfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the first red flags that you saw when he began to speak?
Well, as a man who's lost my son, and I've had to speak about him 12 times on different media outlets, the first time, I'm going to tell you, that first time is hard. Mm-hmm. That first time is something that you just don't even imagine doing. You know what I'm saying? You don't even believe you're standing there doing it. And so no matter what, emotion is going to take over. But it's going to be a controlled emotion, because you're trying to find something out. What he did when he first came out, he started, and I want y'all to look at it again and catch it now. He started to be on the defense from the beginning. This dude was on the defense. His first thing was he telling us the apartment managers are working some kind of sex trafficking over in the neighborhood. He said, I left the bad neighborhood to get her out of there to get into the good neighborhood. Then he say, it was just a few minutes and she was gone. I came out to get her to eat. Who the hell would go in the house to cook food and in 5 minutes? Think about that, y'all. It takes more than 5 minutes to get from the apartment back to the apartment. But in 5 minutes of hitting that door, she had relayed to you that she took the baby outside to the playground by herself, and she's going to cook. And the food was ready in under 5 minutes. And you were deployed to go out and get her? Because that's what he told us. He said it was just 5 minutes. When we went back out there, she was gone.
Okay,
man,
listen.
5 minutes
right.
is real.
Okay.
That's not a short time. That's a quick time, and y'all couldn't have did all of that.
Let me.
So
Emmanuel.
Let me know.
Hold tight.
Lying.
Right.
Yes.
Let me play something here real quick. I think it may be a minute long. And
Okay.
I want you to chime in on it, and I want you all to comment on it as well. A lady called today, and well, not a lady, several ladies called today on this case, but one of them, when she called, I was able to get the recording, and she said something made a lot of sense because for whatever reason, he bought up the landlord and sex trafficking, right?
Right.
Okay, now hold your thought. Let me play this video for you, right? Please, this sound. Let's see if I got the right one. Okay, I apologize. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine as well. I greatly appreciate you calling in, and you want to speak on some inconsistencies in the story about Maliyah?
Yes, that's right. When he was talking to the news media, he said, and we have sex traffickers in the apartment across just next door, and the police don't do anything about it. So if he thought he had sex traffickers in his neighborhood, why would he leave the little girl alone?
My God, you just
So that was all I had. But,
my God.
so, that makes no sense to anybody.
You know, I never thought about that, but you are absolutely, positively, unquestionable, 1,000,000% right. Because if I had an inkling that there was a sex trafficking thing going on where I was living with my daughter, well, I don't have time to fight it. We're gonna move.
Exactly right. So that was just another inconsistency that I thought you might want to add to the list.
I am, and I'm going to speak on this tonight. Are you going to be able to watch us tonight?
Yes. And, too many children are dying, so, when they can take them to the fire department or whatever, and they're killing these kids, people have to start getting more involved because, that's our future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
You are welcome, and enjoy your day. I love you big time.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Manuel,
Yes, sir.
you always on the front of everything. Talk to me about that.
About what?
What she said.
And that's what we were talking about with the bringing up sexual abuse. If y'all listen to the conversation, first off, the whole conversation is supposed to be only about your daughter and us finding her in the situation. Why are you bringing things up that have nothing to do with the case at hand? I'm going to tell y'all why, because it's just like with Darion, Vince, and Cornell, what they did last year to us. They threw us off with that sexuality talk because they knew that would push people to already just naturally feel sympathetic. So what this dude was doing, and I'm going to show y'all something, because you have to understand a liar. And when you know liars, you know the manner in which their speech is going to come out. They're going to be setting up their defense in the beginning. So when he brought in the fact that sex trafficking had been done over there or was being investigated, his knowledge of that and him not doing anything to protect her means that it wasn't as bad as what he's trying to put on. But
come on!
Put it on for us. Why? Because when we find that baby, when they find that baby and they do that autopsy, I promise you, they're going to find out. I'll take that promise back because I'm just gonna say, I feel they're gonna find out that there was some sexual trauma done to that little girl, and he was setting up his reasoning for it not being him. They're gonna come up with something that somebody kidnapped and sexually assaulted and beat the baby, and then had enough care to put the baby into the water on a floaty. First, the mama told us that the little girl went out there, blue shoes, had a little sack full of toys, a pillowcase full of toys, and where's the clothes, the shoes, the pillowcase full of toys at? If somebody snatched her away, they're gonna take the pillowcase, the toys with them,
right,
and then go buy her a new toy. Why they got her? Why they doing this horrible stuff?
Let me ask you this, and then let me ask you this, and I need to get to another caller, but I don't want you to go anywhere because I mean you should call back in because I want to ask you something else. I appreciate you. Well, let me ask you this: what was the purpose of Malcolm X, as I call him, and just being comical, his purpose for visiting the couple if he had no intentions on representing them, or do you want to speak on that?
I'm glad you asked that. Yes, I love to speak, and I've already did a video about it. His reasoning, his exact reasoning for that, because he was not called out by any of the family members. It was not one of his own family members.
Mm-hmm.
What he did was, he knows, like a lot of these shakesters and fakesters, he knows where the camera will be. He knows the biggest story that's going on. And so all he got to do is just show up. And then he's going to show up like he did. And he's going to reiterate everything we already know.
But let me ask you this, right? Why does, he says everybody confessed to him, but not the police. Why is that?
Yeah, hey, who the fuck are you? You're not our liaison. We don't need you to speak for us. And check it out. He wasn't there to represent them because the kids had already spoken. When he's there to represent somebody, he's going to tell them, don't say nothing, let me talk, so the camera can hear me and see me. So by him even being there, like you conducting an investigation, investigation into what? Listen to me, y'all. The police don't work with him. He's a normal, common citizen. He gets information, or he says he get information, and then tell it to them while it's important, because they want to hear it from anybody. He manipulates all of us.
Exactly.
Even by bringing those little sisters, those older women out there. Y'all check this out, man. Y'all look at the video and y'all saw he got some new Panthers that he done proved to stand by him for a little while. He got old ass women now.
Okay, Emmanuel. Okay, I need to take some more calls, but hang tight, okay? I appreciate you, okay? All right. Oh, good Lord. Jesus, spare me. He can go, can he? Shit. Okay. This is some of what you all have heard her say. The lady who carried her in a womb. This is really devastating to me. Good evening, caller. You live on air. Give me just a second, please. She says, this is really devastating to me. Who could be watching my baby? To even snatch her from the paw. And she pops her finger. I mean, just like that. And that's not a tear. That's an unreadable expression. But her eyes pop big. And she's looking at the reporter. As always said, do you believe this bullshit? That's my take on it. Good evening, caller. You live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from tonight?
Mr. Scott, it's me, Shantika, went from calling from a great city of Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey! What's going on, Miss Winfrey?
All right, I just wanted to say that Mr. Manuel, he is absolutely correct. But I just want to say one thing on top of his stuff, okay?
Go ahead.
First of all, that body had to be dumped, like he said, on a Saturday. But it had to be dumped like Saturday around about 10, 11 o'clock at night. Because a body, when you throw a dead body or whatever in the water, it floats to the bottom. It has to have the water to get into the oxygen, to get into the lungs and everything for it to float on top. For a baby, it takes anywhere to 10 to 12 hours for it to float on top. Anybody like you and I, it'll take a whole week. So that's why it'll take a week for you to find me and you. But for that baby, it takes like 10 to 12 hours. So that's why the jogger found that baby at 10:30, because that baby probably dumped by 11 o'clock at night in that water.
Miss Renfrey.
Yes, I did research.
No, listen. You just preached. I mean, when they made the announcement that they found the body floating, my first thought is like, okay, but the body couldn't have been there too long then.
If it was there for between 10 to 12 hours.
Exactly.
That's how long it took.
That's it.
That body could float up because she's little. But
So,
like I said, if it was us, it would take like a week or so because we're bigger than her.
Exactly. And they would still be looking for us. So I'm thinking sometime Friday is when that child was killed.
It could have been killed Friday, and they dumped that body 12, around about 11 at night on Saturday or whatever, when everybody was asleep. And they had a plan, but what I'm confused is I watched the stepfather or boyfriend or whatever interview. It was like, we was prepared for this. What the hell was you prepared for? What were you prepared for?
Listen. Listen,
skipping over some of their words.
I caught that today.
And he was like, we was prepared for this. What the hell you prepared for? And the chief of police, they never said anything about a damn orange float. So with the mama again, I'm talking about an orange float. See, I listened to everything he put out there and see. And what she said was like, yeah, they told my baby on the orange floaty. Stop. They never said anything about an orange floaty. And I'm trying to figure out what the hell he was prepared for.
You're awesome. You are on it. You have not missed a beat. You preached. That's the gospel. I listened to him again today. I'm like, I didn't catch it until today. And when they kept telling me, Miss J, that the chief said to Orange Floor, I said, I don't watch all the interviews with him. I watched them over and over. Maybe I missed something, right? And she did. We never heard the chief say that, unless he said it to them in private. But I know in public, the chief didn't say that.
And one more thing, what does ABC 1, 2, 3 got to do with you finding that baby? That has nothing to do with that baby. You should have been having your ass out there looking for it. This community said they didn't even look. They said she set her ass on them damn steps, fake crying. Did not even help. Wasn't even in the community at the time. She was over there by his house looking for the damn baby. Or wasn't looking, but just over there. She never looked for this baby. They looked for this baby. So the baby didn't mean really nothing to them. And look at that partner. I don't judge anybody for their living because I work in property management. If some doors are messed up, somebody been fighting.
Yeah, they said they was thought they may have been fighting the night before.
They could have been fighting, and the baby got in the midst of it, and I don't know what happened to them, but I know that baby ended up in the river, in the bayou, and it takes anywhere from 10 to 12 hours for that little baby to float on top. So I don't know what happened in the midst of it, but the answer's gonna come out. It's gonna come out, but if you want to die, you come to life.
It will, yeah.
That's all I want to say, Mr. Scott.
Listen, you on the money. You did miss a beat. I totally agree with. I can't disagree with you because if you study science, that's it. As always, I appreciate you calling. I'm gonna take this next call, but don't go nowhere, okay?
All right, well, you big time.
All right, love you big time too. Bye bye.
Right.
Good evening, calling you live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from tonight?
My name is Tori, and I'm calling from the state of Florida. How are you tonight?
Excellent. How's things in Florida?
Oh, it's Florida.
Okay.
You know Florida.
We're through with that.
It's not as heated. It's not as heated as everything that's going on in Houston. I just want to say that I'm new to your channel.
Yes, ma'am.
I just tuned in. I happened to go on my phone and wanted to look for updates on this case, and I came across your live, and I watched your previous video, and I decided to call in, and I appreciate everything you do. And I want you to keep this up. This is very interesting, and I will be a new subscriber, and I will be watching from here on out. And I just want to thank you for all you do, and I would like to give a few comments about the case if I can.
Yes, you can.
Brief. First and foremost, my condolences to the family. That was a beautiful baby, and may she rest in heaven. I did say a little prayer for her last night. I've only been following the case since yesterday. And first and foremost, did you notice when they still clips of the mother and the stepfather? They looked nervous. They didn't look concerned. They didn't look agitated. They didn't look like, where's my child? They looked nervous. That was a red flag to me. When the father came on and spoke, and he was shucking and jumping and hooping and hollering and fake crying, first and foremost, where are your kids? Why are you concerned about how many dogs are out? He was like, oh, the dog fainted, blah, blah, blah. Okay, possible. Oh, they were supposed to have 4 or 5 dogs. And like the gentleman said earlier, I noticed that he initially shifted the focus on him to, well, the lady at our apartment complex was sex trafficking. Okay, thanks for telling us that. But again, why did you leave the baby? Why were you playing games and leave the baby in the front yard?
Exactly.
You never answered that question. I never saw any tears. He should have just never done that interview because the people around him were even looking at him like, what are you talking about? You know, why are you doing all this extra? And the mother was more concerned with consoling him. And let's go find my baby. Let's go find out who did this. Third of all, as a parent, if that happened to me, officer, polygraph me, officer. Run me through whatever test you need to run me through so you can take the focus off me and go find out who really did this.
Exactly.
I would just throw myself I would be at the steps of the police department. not hooping and hollering on TV. Let me go down to the police department so they can clear me as a suspect. Because of course I'm an obvious suspect. I'm close to the case.
Exactly.
Let me get us off the radar. You go find out who really did this to my child. Fourth, there's a storm coming through there. Is it not? Is it possible that they could have did all this, hoping that the body would be washed away in the storm? Evidence would be washed away in the storm. That it would take the body off, and it would be days before they found this baby. I just want to say to the young lady that spoke on the news, who was very passionate, and she wanted to be an activist, and she spoke about Cornell X being there and giving her attitude, and she was just, trying to ask questions. I want to say, if she's listening, honey, I appreciate you. I felt every word that young lady said, and I want her to keep up her activism. Don't let that distract you. Cornell X, to me, is a photo op. You were there for a photo op. You were there in your nice suit and your bodyguard for a photo op. You failed Maliyah Davis, and the first Maliyah Davis, because her mother's still free and her mother knew what was going on with her. Don't fail this Maliyah. If you're not there for genuine reasons, we don't want to see you. We don't care about your airtime. You act like these people can not only give you the valuable information and the cops, you just want the photo op. So no, I don't want to see Quanta X unless you're like really actively out there, fingers in the dirt, doing something about getting justice for this baby.
Exactly.
Do we have any updates on where the parents are right now? Do you have any updates on that?
I don't. I asked Miss J earlier. She can find out where they were at. I don't even know if they're together. They may be in separate locations and stuff. But I don't know, and I would like to know, but right now I don't know. Where they're at. But you've made a lot of good points tonight, and I think I said this last night when it comes to Malcolm X with the toupee. I just cannot understand why, if you commit a crime, that you don't go ahead and confess to the police. I guess you don't confess to the police because you don't want to go to jail, right?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Now,
exactly.
So if I don't want to go to jail, why in the hell would I confess to Malcolm X with the toupee, knowing he's going to march right to the police station and say, blase, blase, because this dude plays both sides. Now, anything that he says, it doesn't mean they said that to him. This dude cannot be trusted.
Exactly. And I want to point out another thing to you. I noticed that the PD, that the Houston Police Department, is playing this very close to their chest. The chief came out, the spokesperson came out and spoke very eloquently. He told the people, pray for the family, keep the family listed in prayer. They got their ducks in a row. They're lining up their ducks. They're not giving anything out because they already know who perpetrated this.
Let me say this real quick. You're right. When he kept saying, I've told the family to prepare for the worst, I'm taking that as a subliminal message. What I'm trying to tell y'all is that some people in your family getting ready to go to jail. It's as simple as that. Listen, I love you big time. I thank you so much for finding this channel tonight, and I hope you subscribe and stay on. And I am so glad that you called in tonight.
Thank you so much, sir, and you have a wonderful night.
You too. Love you big time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Good evening, caller. You're live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from tonight?
Hey, honey bunch, this is Miss J.
Come on, Miss J. Talk to me before we get out of here.
Listen, somebody sent me something, and which I know is bullshit. It says this is an old case. The mother and her boyfriend is in jail. She left him alone with him. He got mad at the mother, raped, killed, and dropped the baby body off in a landfill, if not mistaken.
Who sent you that?
Somebody named Khalil Scales put it, but it was Kia Warner, Monet Hill.
Okay. Did they take that to the police?
No, it's in my inbox. I hear what they just saying that I guess this person named who was talking about this case, I'm thinking she's in referencing this one to Malia Davis. She got to be, because everybody is saying that, like, how they killed this baby in this man's apartment is beyond despicable, but this one is saying this is an old case. And I'm thinking because both of their name is Maliyah, she got them mixed up. Is a Maliyah Davis and Maliyah Bailey.
Exactly.
This is a new Maliyah case. This is not the old case. None of them already doctors in jail.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe they have it mixed up or something like that.
Because they was like, this is not accurate. This is the accurate information. No, it's not. And the matter of fact, either one of the bitches is in jail. The fat one walking around like a Teletubby, like nothing wrong. And the other one, it's just a matter of time before her days is cut short.
It's coming. It's coming. It is. There was.
I would like for them to get. I would like to get them from the services.
You want to do what with them? Do what now?
I want them to get arrested at the funeral services because I still feel like you didn't look for your child. The fake ass stuff that didn't help you look for the child. Y'all was sitting up there trying to come up with some more lies to add to the stories y'all trying to make people buy. And then you're going to say that the people that actually helped you look for your children should not be in attendance? You shouldn't even be in attendance.
You know, and we talked about this last night, and I'm sure most of you probably know this, if not all of you, that allegedly they have decided this is going to be a private ceremony, just as the Maliyah Davis case. Now,
but she shouldn't even be there.
Well, I totally agree with that, but it's just like Brittany Bowens. I mean, these women did not love the kids. The ones that love them would like to be there, but you're telling them that they cannot. Miss J, let me catch this line. Hold on. Good evening, call you live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling from tonight?
Hey, my name is Sarai. I'm calling from Georgia.
Georgia?
Yeah.
All right, good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Are we on live?
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to bring something to everyone's attention because I'm like really big. I've been following this on social media since it came about that they found her dead.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've been going from pages to pages, and I came across a page that is supposed to be, I guess, the mother's best friend, which is now ex-best friend. And the girl said they've been friends for, what, I guess 10 years or so, but I guess this is the last straw. And she said that she knows her, and she's not even standing by her. Her mother isn't standing by her. No one on her side of the family is standing by her except for her boyfriend, you know, his mother and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But she just got her best friend, you know, her mom is saying, like, you know, for the past couple of days or for a while now, she's noticed, like, her daughter, like, the devil has her daughter. Like, she's been making posts like that, like, it's something going on, and she just wants her daughter to speak up. And so I feel like if your mom and your best friend of 10 years can, like, say that, then, you know, there's something really foul going on if something happens to that child.
Exactly.
And, you know, and it's really big because she's just like, what she said about the girl, she's like, I've been friends with you for 10 years. Like, you forgetting that I know you. Like, I guess she's, as of now, a couple of days ago, she just blocked her mom. She blocked her best friend. She blocked, like, all of her family members. She was basically telling her, you got something to do with this. And she doesn't want to hear that. But her best friend is just like, you're forgetting that I know you. Like, I know what it looks like when you fake cry. I know what it's like. Like, I know the truth, and I don't watch you, like, convince people, like, you know, try to convince people of your lies by forcing yourself to cry. And she said in the interview, once I seen her interview and her boyfriend's interview, that was the last straw. I can't back her up on this because I know it's some bullshit. Like, you weren't. So
let me ask you this. When you said that she's blocked everybody, is this from a social media account like Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook.
Well, you know, to me, and it could go either way. When we do things like that, especially, you know, when something's happened to your child and some people are looking at you, it's not true in every case, but when we go to shutting out a page down or we go to blocking certain people, we do that because not only are we guilty, we know they're going to say something that's going to make the other people say,
exactly. And that's what her best friend was saying. Like, you're mad because I'm stating the truth, and I'm not on your side, and you don't like that. Like, you don't like what we have to say. And plus, you blocked your mom as well. Like, you blocked your mom, you blocked your cousin. Like, it's a lot of people that's saying, like, yeah, she blocked me too. She doesn't want to hear what we have to say. And everyone's saying we want justice for Maliyah. Like, we can't back you on this. Like, this is not something that we can back you on anymore. Exactly. You need to confess and own up.
Exactly. You know, it's a very, very sad case. For a day or so, we couldn't find her. And I'm like, well, do she have me automatically blocked already? But We found that she had another Facebook page set up. I don't think she's been on in a while, but we did find that. But when you block your mother, I think your mother know you best.
Yo, her mom said the devil has my daughter. I don't know what's going on. You're going through some things, but you need to open up. You need to speak up and get justice for your child. Your mother is saying it. Your mother isn't backing you. She's not saying, oh, well, they have said we need time. We just want, we need to let police do their job. But they're also like, you know something. Like, we know you and we know you know something.
But here's the thing. When we say that I know you're going through some things. I understand that. But there is no defense for absolute wrong. If you are having financial troubles, if your love life sucks and all hell is breaking loose in your life, that does not justify you killing your child or handing your child over to someone
at all
to be killed. So I have absolutely no damn pity for you, because there's somebody that would say, you know what, I wouldn't give a damn if you stayed outdoors. Bring me the child. Bring me the child.
Exactly. And me, I'm young, I'm 22, and I'm a mother of 3. I have 3 kids, and one of my children is 2 years old. And I know for a fact I cannot leave my child, my 2-year-old, outside. I don't care if it is the apartment complex park. I'm not leaving him outside. It's just in me, because I know, like, I have to tell my child to stop doing something at least 15 times in less than a minute. Stop doing the same thing. So I know that 2-year-old, she wandered off. She had to get distracted. It was too much. Like, you can't say, like, oh, it was okay. I was watching her from the window. You mean to tell me you just watching her? You have to yell out not one time, hey, what you doing? Come back. You going too far? Like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Exactly. On top of that, her people was saying, like, her cousin, the baby's godmother, her best friend, her and the boyfriend are in an abusive relationship. So there's no telling what went on and what happened at home. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then the girl that was just, who said, like, it takes a couple hours for a child's body to float to the top. It makes sense, because y'all went to the store late last night, but y'all left the daughter at home.
Yeah, and I really...
Y'all feel okay with telling Cornell, that don't, something, it's fishy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she was asleep or anything like that. Both of y'all didn't need to go to the store that's right next to the apartment complex together.
I mean, I'm wondering what the hell was that important that time of the night that you had to go to the store?
What did you get from the store? Y'all went to the store. What did you get? What did you have to get? What did both of y'all need to go to the store and get? Like, it's nothing's adding up. Nothing is adding up, and there's no excuse. And it's the thing that really got me with him. Yes, he was fake crying, but it's the pointing the finger at everybody else but yourself. As a parent, if my child was to go missing, I'm blaming myself, because I know that is my responsibility. That is my child. Exactly. I'm supposed to protect you. I'm supposed to love you, and you are in my care. It doesn't matter if I told someone else to watch you and you went missing. It's still my fault, because I had bad judgment on this person, thinking that they were capable enough to watch you and keep an eye on you, and they weren't. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the Maliyah Davis case. Like, when her mom put her outside with her, because she should have known better. Like, in her head, she was thinking, she's capable of watching my child. Come to find out, it wasn't. That wasn't the case.
Exactly. You have made some great points, and I thank you kindly. I totally agree with you. I mean, if anything, the man should have said, well, whatever we need, you watch the child, I'll walk my ass to the store, whatever,
As a man, of course.
Exactly.
Or if you didn't want to watch the child, then it's just, okay, babe, I'll be back. You and the girl, y'all stay to the house, I'll go get it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Unless he's just that type that's, she'll be all right. Let's just come walk to the store. And she's all right. She's sweet. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Unless he was that type, but there's no reason for both of y'all to go to the store late at night. Like,
but
not with the
right. The only reason I can see them, and they may have told Malcolm X with the toupee that they left the child alone that night, and I've said it tonight. They did that because there's no need to sit there and watch a dead body.
You're right.
It's as simple as that. Right. I thank you so much for calling in, and I hope you continue to watch the show, and I love you big time.
Thank you, and thank you for answering the call.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, I got to get out of here. Look, we didn't get to the second story tonight. We were going to talk about Jacob Blake, I think. Well, I ain't going yet. Good evening, call you live on air. What's your name? What state are you calling from? Hello?
Hi, this is Danny TV.
Okay, can you, Danny TV?
Yeah.
Well, good evening, Danny TV.
Good evening, calling from Illinois.
All right, how are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, I just wanted to make a few points. I just had something to say about, like, I don't know if anybody else has mentioned it, but I'm really trying to figure out how did they leave this girl in the house by herself if, from what I was told, they were so-called evicted. That's why the place was looking like that, all nasty and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They had got evicted. So I'm trying to figure out, like, if y'all got evicted, what the hell are you doing back at the house? And then you're going to try to use that and say, oh, well, we left her unattended in the park and we went inside the house to cook some food. How the hell you go in the house to cook some food if you was evicted? See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's really confusing me.
I didn't know about the eviction.
Huh?
I didn't know about the eviction, but you make a...
Yeah. A few people from Houston were saying that she was evicted. I believe that it was somebody from the lab that was saying that did the lab.
Mm-hmm.
They said that she had got evicted or whatever, and I think they had ended up leaving like a few days prior to reporting her missing. But my thing is, if y'all got evicted, I don't even know how it's supposed to go. It just sounds, the whole story is all messed up. It's like, okay, y'all don't live there no more. Then you do live there. Then, it's, then you went to the store. Then y'all left her unattended at the house by herself while you went to the store. So it's obvious that they definitely did something to this little girl.
Let me ask you this. If you had a 2-year-old child and you were going to cook breakfast and you had your husband and your boyfriend, would you let the child stay outside? Keep in mind, along with being out there alone, we still have the coronavirus in the building. Would you have left her outside because you can watch her from the window?
Hell no, and I have a 2-year-old myself.
Okay.
I got a 2-year-old. I'm not about to leave her outside. Hell no. And then from what I live in Chicago, so you definitely can't leave your 2-year-old outside at all. I don't care if you sitting on the porch watching her.
Exactly.
I'm not about to leave her sight at all. That's just dead wrong, period. She's only 2.
Exactly. With all that's going on with the disappearance of kids and kids being killed at the hands of those who should be protecting them, what do you think drives a parent or guardian to kill the child?
Well, what do I think that would drive a parent to kill a child?
Yes.
Me personally, I don't want to say it because I don't want nobody sitting up here thinking like, oh, well, what, she gonna kill her kids too or something? But
gotcha.
No, I really feel like most parents get stressed out and overwhelmed. Some of these, I'm young too. I'm 27, so most parents, they get irritated at the fact that they don't have nobody to watch their children, and they want to party all day. Some of these females are already party animals.
Okay.
So the simple fact that you're a party animal and you don't have nobody that can watch, you getting pissed off, and your baby getting on your nerves because she wants your attention. So you like, you know what? I'm gonna kill this little motherfucker. And then the boyfriend probably was irritated. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I ain't trying to say that, but the boyfriend, he was probably irritated, and of course that's not his child. So of course he don't give a shit.
Exactly.
So it's like most of these, what I think drives people to kill their kids, especially women, postpartum depression.
Mm-hmm.
You're going through depression after you have the baby, and then it carries on for so long because you're not going to therapy sessions for, psychiatric sessions or whatever the case is to have somebody to talk to. And you don't even have that support in your life, period, for somebody to talk to you. So you overwhelmed, you stressed out, and then also you a party animal. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. Or you just tired of your baby, like getting on your damn nerves, and you tired of her, oh, mommy, 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 mommy. You tired of hearing mommy. But see, my thing is, you open up your damn stanky ass legs, and you let the dude, do whatever he has to do inside of you. Then you carry the baby for 9 months, and then you all on Facebook like, oh, my baby, showing pictures and stuff to everybody. Oh, she's here. Okay, now she's here. Now your ass irritated. Now you don't want the baby no more. Now you want to discard her like a piece of trash.
That happens. That happens a lot when, some a young girl have a child, and if she's used to partying, clubbing, or whatever, well, she still thinks that she's able to do that. But things change when you become a parent. I think this was my first time speaking to you. I know you've been on the chat for a while. I enjoyed speaking with you tonight. Yeah. And I love you big time. Thank you for your genuine support.
Love you as well. I love listening to your show.
I thank you kindly. Enjoy your night.
You too. Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Bye. Good evening, caller. You live on air. What's your name and what state are you calling us from tonight?
Houston, Texas.
Good evening. How are you, Houston, Texas?
I'm doing all right.
Okay.
I think Friday night when they went to the gas station or store, wherever they went, I think the baby was in that car, and after that they dropped the baby off in the bayou. Mm-hmm. It makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. It does. It does.
And I was abused when I was a kid, right?
Yes.
My baby brother in I'm not taking away from the story, right? My dad wasn't his biological son, right?
Yes, sir.
And he placed my older brother in some scalding hot water. CPS took him away. We still have a hard time locating my older brother. My whole family's trying to find him. Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy how people have a hatred for something that's not theirs. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And mm-hmm. I feel like since that wasn't his biological kid, I think he had a hatred for that kid. You know what I'm saying?
And that could very well be the case because you're saying some real things. Now I may pretend to like the child around the mother
to get to the mother, to get into her goods. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Because from beginning to end, he was painting himself as father knows best. I taught her, she know her ABCs, her 1, 2, 3s. That don't mean that. That's what you're supposed to do as a parent. So there's no award for that,
Exactly. So and I think Carmel X, I think he works for the DA. And he's getting some kind of compensation for helping with cases. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, brother.
They already brought it to light that he gets paid for it a while back, like 3 years back.
Here's the thing about Malcolm X with the toupee. I don't trust him. He will stand in front of Jesus and tell a lie. This man plays both sides. Yeah. And my biggest problem is why in the hell, because he said this several times in interviews and in writing that people trust him more than they trust the police, and that's why they confide in him. Well, if they're going to confide in you, then they're going to go to jail. So why not go ahead and tell it to the cops?
Yeah.
So I mean, he plays both sides. So I don't believe it. I mean, he said, she said, blase, blase. The man said, blase, blase. It doesn't mean they said it. It doesn't, you know. But somebody with a history like him, and he's a con man, he's a fake and a fraud, I just don't believe a damn thing he's saying.
Nah, I think he's a fraud too. And somebody said his brother was a big time dope dealer, right? And he didn't give two shits about his brother. He fucked over his own brother.
So you know how he coming for you and I.
Yeah.
He don't give a damn. You know, whichever way the wind blows, he could get a handshake here or get a camera in front of him and say, well, I just blah, 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 but I'm not going to tell you everything. Go say, let's just say, the devastating. Man, what the hell are you saying, dude? What happened? But then you go there and then you say, I'm not going to represent. Why the fuck did you show up?
Yep.
But everybody confides in him. I believe that, like I believe the grand, sir.
Everything comes to the light.
Exactly.
And I believe that man hurt that baby. Like yesterday, I was like, maybe we need to look into it. But I watched the whole thing. I watched it 2 or 3 times today. And it tore me up inside. And I'm like, man, something's wrong with this. And that lady, she knows something's up. She's involved in it too.
You know, I did exactly what you did today. You know, I sat in every video that came up, I watched it, and then there were several videos I watched over and over again. And these videos involved him and then involved her. And I'm looking for, you know, body language and things like that. And it's earthly sad that we're right here again in the same spot we was last year around about the same time with Maliyah Lynn Davis.
Yeah. And then I watched some on her today. Her mother was in a tattoo shop a month ago. She was in a tattoo shop interviewing this guy. The tattoo artist was interviewing her, and she couldn't even get her story right. So I think she had something to do with that also.
Oh, she did. Yeah. We discussed it earlier today. I think it was with.
It's conflicting, right, man. Because she said that he dropped her off at the airport, and then she changed it to saying that she took the bus to the airport, and then it's crazy.
Well, yeah, you know what? We discussed that today, and when I first got the video, after he got through speaking, and she began to speak, the first thing she did was laugh. I cut it off. I couldn't. I don't want to hear nothing after that because I got like really fucking pissed, right? But I had to watch it before airtime so I could speak on it. So it was right before airtime that I got enough courage to sit down and calmly watch this. But I'm like, this bitch.
But then again, it could be a nervous laugh, but she is doing it too often. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think there's something more into that case than.
You count the seconds. You count the seconds when she's asked a question, and it's usually between 5 and 7 seconds. And what she's doing is she's thinking of not an answer. She's thinking of the correct answer that makes her look good. And on the same token, once again, she's talking about her feelings, not Maliyah Davis, a child that's dead. I had so much going on when I was carrying her, but it's not about you.
Exactly.
Brother, I greatly appreciate you calling in tonight.
I don't mean to cut you off, but do you know any way I can find my brother?
I tell you what, why don't you give me a call in the morning? The phone lines come on at 9 a.m.
Yes, sir.
So can you call me? What's your name? Just give me your last name. Okay, don't worry about it. We'll talk in the morning.
All right. Yes, sir.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I love the show, man.
Thank you, brother. That means a lot to me. Enjoy your evening, brother.
You too.
Okay, y'all. We got to get out of here. I'm sorry. I love you guys big time. I did not get a chance to get into the issue with Jacob Blade, but be it Lord willing and Creek Don't Rise, I'll be back here again tomorrow around about the same time. We'll discuss that as well. But when you all want to talk, I want to listen because I know everybody's frustrated. Everybody's pissed off. But the saddest thing about this, it goes right back to the Maliyah Davis case. This child wasn't loved until you and I heard that child's name. It's just as simple as that. If I didn't get a chance to say hello to you and you popped up, Don't take it personal, okay? I love you all big time. You all have a good night. Remember, I am not always right, and you are not always wrong.